Obviously the refashioning guide has come out and there are a lot of topics to cover. So I thought we could break down certain topics and go a little bit more into detail. Let's start with the basics. What is the circular design record? Why is it such an important concept in the shift towards circular fashion?
Okay, so first of all, the circular design record, it is basically a single source of truth. You can think of it as the place where you can store all of the data around the decisions that you're making as you're designing a product for circularity. So if you think about how we design product currently in the linear system, which when we talk about a linear system, it is the system, prevailing system, where we take resources from the earth, we make products, we use them for a time, and then they kind of fall off this linear cliff and get wasted. We don't have great systems in place to actually circulate those materials, keep the value in those materials for as long as possible. And so we lose a lot of value, we lose all that embodied impact that that material or that product has taken to create. So when we think about circular design, we're thinking about it in an entirely different way. We need to be able to keep track of all of the stages in the life cycle that that product now goes through. We need to really deeply understand all of the raw materials that we're using in that product. But when we start to think about all of these new changes that we have to make, you realize that it's all in your head. And you're making all these decisions, and the question then becomes, how do we record this information so that it can stay with the product, so that anyone who handles that product or material in the life cycle, whether it's a repairer or a recycler at end of life, knows exactly what to do with it. And so the circular design record, to come back to your question, is the place where you document all of these decisions and where the plan for your product is really outlined clearly. And so if we think about the circular design record being this, like I said at the start, a single source of truth where you can store this information, it makes the act and the implementation side of circularity so much easier because you're not just guessing or trying to figure it out after the fact.
It's all there.
It's all there.
Yeah. When we were operating a brand, we had all this data scattered across, multiple different formats. How does the circular design record help with this?
Yeah, it's so helpful. And actually, the reason that it exists is because I experienced for myself firsthand how frustrating it is to have all of these different formats of documentation spread across all of these different storage locations. So you might have some things in Google Drive, you might have a questionnaire that you get your supplier to fill out that outlines information about a product that you're purchasing from them. You might have a bill of materials, but it might have a lot of gaps in it. So the circular design record allows for you to take all of this kind of scattered information, put it into a streamlined, uniform process. And what that does down the track is it means that you can pull records really easily. You can see your overall footprint, you can see your overall material usage, you can see what percentage of your products are coming from circular inputs already and what products can be improved on. So the circular design record helps you with all of those kind of scattered, piecemeal sort of bits of info that you might have. And there might be gaps that you don't know about as well, and it helps you highlight what those gaps are. I know a lot of brands that work off of spreadsheets, and the spreadsheets can just get so out of control and hard to keep updated and maintained, and things get out of date really quickly. So the circular design record also allows you to make sure that everything is stored in one place, and anyone that has access can update that and keep it up to date and make sure that it's accurate.
You've also created a tool called Quadrant Circular. What is it? How does it help design teams to create their circular design record?
Yeah. So Quadrant Circular was really born out of the refashioning project. So the refashioning project was a years-long project between RMIT University, myself through ABCH World, Julie Bolton, Strategy and Sustainability. We were supported by Sustainability Victoria, and we also worked with Country Road to help test the guidelines and test out things like the circular design record. So this project was happening, and while it was happening, I was also working closely with my friend Pete Smith, who runs a business called Style Atlas. And Style Atlas has a product lifecycle management tool called Quadrant. And we started talking about how we could potentially bring the guidelines into this PLM software, but more importantly, create a standalone circular design tool that could be either used in conjunction with the PLM, or maybe they just don't have a PLM yet, or they're working through spreadsheets, or they have a different PLM system. So the idea would be that it would be super accessible. Anyone could pick it up and use it to help build out their circular design record. The whole way that it works in this software tool is that you see a streamlined interface where you have your whole circular design record attached to your product design. You can build out your own material libraries, your own supplier libraries, color libraries, the list goes on. There's a whole bunch of library presets that you can start to build in, and then that becomes a fantastic resource for you as you're designing product in the future and you want to draw on those material libraries. But the interface for designing for circularity is essentially the circular design record. It allows you to implement all of the stages of the life cycle that you're designing for, all of the plans as a designer that you are putting in place for that product, let's say in the use phase or the decommissioning phase or the end of life phase. It allows you to put it all into one place. It also links directly to your bill of materials. And we know that a bill of materials is so critical for circular design because it outlines every single input that goes into your product. And we're talking about everything: fabric, trims, threads, even different dyes, print finishes, all kinds of things. And so when you tap into the bill of materials through the Quadrant Circular platform, you'll see we've called it the circular bill of materials because it allows you to not only track everything that goes into the product, but it also allows you to calculate whether it's a circular input or not. It allows you to take each input and plot its final kind of stage of life through decommissioning and end of life. So it allows you really fine-tuned control around a circular life cycle for that product.
Cool.
And it's
very cool.
Yeah, it's cool and it's easy to use. I think that's the biggest thing.
It's not a boring spreadsheet either.
It's not a boring spreadsheet or a complicated system where you're just pulling your hair out trying to learn the system. You learn as you go and you're filling in your bill of materials, you're filling in your circular design record, and the very software is prompting you to do all of the things. You won't miss anything because it's there kind of prompting you as you go along. Cool. So it's really intuitive. But in saying that, you can use other things to create a circular design record. You can use a spreadsheet if you really want to. You can build any of those out for yourself. But
this is all there.
The whole point of creating this was to make it easy.
Is it just for internal use or is it for that external use as well with other things happening worldwide across the industry?
So both, absolutely. So the idea is that yes, it helps you with your internal decision making and your circular design process, but we have built it to be incredibly thorough and to align with the standards that we've built through the refashioning guidelines, which also align with what's happening in the broader industry around traceability and transparency. Digital product passports are something that we've been talking about for many years. We're still kind of waiting to understand exactly what will be required. The EU is really leading the way in terms of regulating digital product passports for any product that enters the market. And while we might not see digital product passports regulated in Australia anytime soon, if you are selling product into the European market, then your brand should absolutely be thinking about digital product passports already. But while we're waiting for a bit more concrete information around what data is going to be put into those digital product passports and what really their purpose is and what the mechanism will be, so will it be a scannable QR code? I mean, probably not. It's probably more likely to be embedded hardware or something that you can't remove easily. So those things are still yet to be determined. But the beauty and the kind of streamlined nature of the circular design record is that you should be able to use all of that data. You're building the muscle now by building your circular design record. It's great practice, it's great for your business, but then it has these external implications in the future as we need to start complying with regulation, as we need to start ensuring that we have digital product passports for our products. So even though that kind of final regulatory piece is not here yet, it's absolutely coming, and this is the best way to get prepared because it's very thorough and it specifically focuses on the product life cycle, which includes any life cycle partner who might touch your product, whether that's in the supply chain as its raw materials come together to be made into a product, whether it's the customer who is wearing and using the product, whether it's a repairer, a remanufacturer, a repurpose facility, a downcycler, a recycler, you know, the list goes on.
So many.
So many, so many. And so the digital product passport should be able to be read by any of those stakeholders, essentially.
Yeah.
And we're speaking the language of those different stakeholders through the CDR.
Yeah. So it really is about, it's future proofing.
Yeah.
Yeah. For these brands.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I think it's like giving you something that's very practical and useful now, especially.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a global audience, but in Australia right now, we have a big shift towards circularity. We're seeing the government have textiles on its priority list for extended producer responsibility. We also have Seamless, which is the National Product Clothing Stewardship Scheme. And there's a huge demand from brands who are already signed up as Seamless partners, but also brands outside of Seamless that are pushing and looking for how they make their products circular. And so this is a way to get started with that
it's a first
now. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. In saying that this is a first step for brands,
Yep.
what is the first step for these brands to take towards creating their circular design record?
Yeah, so I mean, the first step is to get familiar with the refashioning guidelines, which are fully open sourced, free to access from refashioning.org. You can download the guidelines. Yes, it is a long document, but if you really want to dig into the nitty gritty, that's the place to start.
Yeah.
If you need a little bit of help and guidance through it, we're going to be breaking down the key stages in the design process kind of periodically to help brands to be able to, or designers to be able to follow along with the product design as they go. So if you want to follow along with that process, you can sign up to Clothing 2.0 Substack. It's free. And we have Postlinear on there, which is the business series where we'll be breaking down the guidelines bit by bit. So it makes it a little bit more digestible.
Yep.
If you're a Seamless member, you also have access to the free circular design training. So if you know that your business is already a Seamless member, you should fully tap into that training because you get like taken through the whole process in the most immersive way possible. So I highly recommend that. And the other thing would be is that, as you're looking through the circular design guidelines from refashioning, there's a bunch of templates that are in the back of the guidelines. And while they're not like editable themselves, you can use them as a basis to create your own spreadsheets or your own like documentation tool if you want to build your own from scratch.
Right.
And of course, last and probably the most important is that you can sign up for Quadrant Circular. It's really like accessible. And if you know you're going to be doing this process ongoing, then it's a great tool to get started for the long-term like longevity of product design becoming circular. So there's a few ways you can engage. Some ways will be a little more easier than others, but I would recommend that you touch base with any of those resources, and you can also reach out to us as well and ask.
Okay, a couple of rapid fire questions just to summarize.
I'm ready.
Because we've got a lot of different titles. I get them muddled, so I'm sure other people will get them muddled.
There's a lot of acronyms.
There's a lot of acronyms. So CDR, Circular Design Record, what is it?
It's your single source of truth for all of your circular design decisions that can be communicated to anyone in the life cycle.
Quadrant Circular, very quickly what that is and how designers can access it.
Quadrant Circular is circular design software that helps you to implement, track, measure, and improve on all of your circular design decisions.
Where can they access it?
They can access it, I don't know the URL.
Oh, okay.
We'll put it in the notes.
Great, we'll link it. Refashioning guide, quickly, where can they find? Oh,
Wait,
sorry.
one more thing. You can book a free demo for Quadrant Circular as well.
Cool.
So we'll also give you the
Also
link for that.
Great.
If you want to just poke around before you
Nice.
decide you want to
Okay.
use it or not.
Refashioning guide, where can people access that? Who can access it?
Anyone can access refashioning. Anyone who is designing product and wants to think about product design for circularity, you can get it from refashioning.org, and it is open source and freely available to anybody who wants to look at it. Cool.
Who do you think should be accessing these tools?
Anyone who wants to position themselves in that future change maker leadership position, absolutely. But also brands that are a bit unsure and don't necessarily want to be putting themselves out there as the leader can also use these tools to get themselves ready and to organize their systems back of house. So I feel like it has such a broad range of applications for businesses of different sizes, for businesses at different stages of readiness. So there's some businesses that are already really like focused on aligning with EU regulations. They're going to find this tool so useful. It's going to slot right into what they're already thinking about. But even for the brand or the small solo operator who's just getting started, who's just, you know, starting to take all of the stuff that has been in their brain probably for a long time and put it into action and really like put it to the test. There is so much usefulness. There's so much benefit for you as well. So it's actually being designed, all of these tools, refashioning, Quadrant Circular, the Circular Design Record, they're all created to meet you where you're at and to help you improve. They're not demanding perfection of you. And I think that is so critical as well.
What do you want to talk about next?
So next time we're going to be talking about lifecycle partners. So if you're like, what the heck is a lifecycle partner? We will explain that to you and maybe you are one of them.
Cool.
Thanks, Lily.